It really has become just a whole new category of fun in America to make fun of bankers. Welcome to Newsweek. Today we are talking about fair pay for women and Occupy Wall Street. Abby, you've written a great story for the Daily Beast about why on earth we still have this terrible discrepancy between men and women's salaries. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's really ridiculous, and there's been a little storm recently that's stirred everybody up about it, and it's because Mitt Romney, one of his aides last week, was unable to say whether he supported the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. And that act basically helps women file claims against their companies if they find out men are making more. So then this week, Mitt Romney has still failed to clarify whether he in fact does support that act. He says he supports fair pay.
In principle,
Right.
but then the specific, nobody's gotten him the actual act to read, and so he doesn't know if there's any socialist anything hidden in there.
I mean, it seems like kind of a safe bet to say, yes, I support that Fair Pay Act.
Well,
because
when you're appealing to the right-wing base, nothing is a safe bet necessarily.
Exactly.
Can you just take us back a little bit and tell us why? Because I've been hearing about this my entire life. This has been an issue for so long. Why? What is the pay discrepancy, and why has it persisted?
Women make 77 cents for every dollar that a man makes. Yesterday was Equal Pay Day, and it was April 17th.
Woo-hoo!
Yes, I'm sure you partied
2 days after
last
Tax
night.
Day.
And that day is supposed to represent the amount of time from January to April that it takes a woman to work to earn as much as a man makes in 1 year. Why this is the case? There are a lot of reasons. People say, well, women leave the workforce for a few years, they have kids, they come back, they get behind. But then others argue, well, that's irrelevant. I mean, if you're doing the same job, if a man and a woman are doing the same job, they should make the same amount of money for it. And there was a recent study showing that right out of college, men make more than women, so that, stepping out of the workforce to have children argument doesn't really make sense.
And is this going to be a campaign issue, do you think? I mean, the Republicans have already been accused of sort of waging war on women, and now they're, of course, reversing that and saying Democrats are. But, I mean,
Right.
do you see this as becoming a sort of campaign issue?
I think it definitely will, because there was another incident a couple weeks ago where the governor of Wisconsin repealed his state's Equal Pay Act. So I don't think it's going to go away. To me, it seems like it seems like a win. Support fair pay. That's, for any politician. That's
and a very
easy.
Republican kind of
Yeah, no, it's a
theme as
good
well.
point, Lucas. It is amazing to me to see how the general election campaign is shaping up so much around women's issues.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It seems just outrageous to me that we're still talking about
It
this.
is.
Exactly.
So retro.
It seems like sort of 3 steps forward, and now we're taking a couple steps back.
So yesterday was the Equal Pay Day.
That's right.
Yesterday was also the 6-month anniversary of Occupy Wall Street,
Indeed
Lucas.
it was.
And we have a wonderful piece on the site, which is Michael Lewis, the great Michael Lewis, interviewing himself about Occupy Wall Street.
Occupy Wall Street.
How did the interview go? Was it contentious? Did he get anywhere?
It was very contentious, and he sort of grills himself quite solidly. He asks himself why, in the end, he really didn't do very much about Occupy Wall Street, and yet why he's also pretty positive about Occupy Wall Street, and why he thinks it's actually going to have a much more of a lasting impact than I think most of the rest of us give it credit for. And that's for 2 reasons. One is because he thinks that it's actually impacting the presidential election in a real way. You see Obama's rhetoric and sort of campaign strategies to go after the 1% and to kind of be very critical of the bankers and financial industry. And of course, Romney represents that 1% so perfectly. And then on the other hand, actually, which I think he makes a very good point, is that
Not that Obama doesn't really
Well,
as well.
he does as well, of course, but he's using that. I mean, and of course, Romney's sort of rushing. He's wearing his blue jeans and plaid shirts. He's rushing to sort of not look like the kind of hedge
How
fund.
much of this is actually just campaigning and politics, and how much of it is substantive, though? I mean, we just saw the defeat of the Buffett rule in the Senate. I mean, a lot of this seems to be bluster and sort of smoke and mirrors, and not actual impact.
I think a lot of it's rhetoric, and the kind of rhetoric that you'd find in any campaign.
To contrast it with women's issues, which may seem like they may be touching at something a little bit more substantive if this Fair Pay Act can get any traction.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But I think of course, in politics, rhetoric and image is everything. And so, I mean, Michael Lewis also makes a great point that everyone after Occupy Wall Street, almost everyone is sort of identifies with the 99% now. Even bankers here sort of saying, "Oh no, I'm part of the 99%."
Yeah, totally.
You can't all be part of the 99%.
It's completely stigmatized.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly, and that was something that wasn't the case before Occupy Wall Street started.
yeah, it really has become just a whole new category of fun in America to make fun of bankers.
Even Lloyd Blankfein, it's like, "Oh no, I'm 99%. That's
Yeah,
me.
totally.
I'm part of that."
It's very uncool to be a banker.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. Abby, what is your final word?
Retro.
Lucas?
Occupied.
And I'm going to go with fairness. That's all from us at Newsbeast. We'll see you tomorrow. Fairness, right?
Yeah.
Fairness. Class fairness.
Fairly chosen.
Thank you.